Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hope the weekend has been kind to you. Lots of gorgeous sunshine. We've had bikes here in Baker City all weekend. It is 1800 hours, July 10th, 2022. You're in the studio with Alladay Mobile Media. We are going to talk about something. If you've known me for a while and you followed me for a while, you know I get amped up and I get excited over certain types of construction and architecture. And the building we're talking about today, Geiser Grand Hotel, is one of those buildings. I have been blessed. You know how I feel about certain things. Over the years, I have been blessed to work on some very unique projects. Some of the Queen Anne Victorian restoration down in the Bay Area, some in Sparks, Nevada, Virginia City, Nevada. I've worked on some of the biggest construction projects on the West Coast as a glazer, doing little woodwork here and there and stuff like that. But the opportunity arose that I got a tour, and I actually got to talk with Mrs. Sidway, Barbara and Dwight Sidway, the proprietors of the Geiser Grand Hotel. And what an experience. And thank you to everybody that has made information available, the workers, the people in the community. And thank you to today's sponsor, Lake Tahoe Markets, LakeTahoeMarkets.com. Bring the market to you. Farm to table, what a program they have up there. If you're in the Lake Tahoe area, give them a look-see. They deliver a farmer's market that delivers. Come on, you can't beat that with a stick, folks. Give them a look-see. The Geiser Grand Hotel, in 1859, Oregon becomes a state. 1862, they find gold up in there. Kind of sounds a little bit like the 49er rush down in California, but they found gold all up and down the mountains and everything. Nevada was already gun-ho mining silver, a lot of silver. There was some gold up there, mostly silver in Nevada. And this is what has fascinated me about this whole scenario and this building. It is so much, the stories that are here remind me of the Silver Queen Hotel in Virginia City and Julia Boulez's establishment in Virginia City. Some of the stories and stuff we've heard about the hotel, and we'll get into that as we move along. Well, here's what I got going on. I made 3 shorts today. One I call In the Beginning. The other one is Picking Up the Pieces. The hotel went into some disrepair. And the other one I call Maintaining, and that's where the Sidways come into play and resurrected the building that had basically was given a death sentence, if you will, for lack of a better phrase. It was up for demo, which I don't know if they ever knew about the Mapes Hotel, but I was involved with the architects on that, and we had discussions, and everybody wanted, this whole community here came out to save the Geiser Grand Hotel. Reno did the same thing to the Mapes, but the Mapes Hotel was built in that area where they used asbestos for everything. And it was just it was a hazmat situation, and it was a bad situation. But I wish maybe, because when I talk to, and I gotta say this, This lady, Barbara Sidway, the owner, Mrs. Sidway, she has a serious pedigree in historical preservation. So give it a look-see, folks. This is, there was a Japanese TV show in 2010 come, and they made the Geiser Grand the center of what they were doing. It was featured in a special. This show, I think it was called Unbelievable, and they made the Geiser Grand the center of the show they were doing here because they considered it in the top 10 most interesting spots on the planet. Very interesting. Some of the clips you see, it's rumored to have ghosts. They never came and talked to me. I don't know. People think I'm crazy when I say, hey, if there's a ghost, if the ghost is listening, let's do a podcast. Let's get together and talk and find out why you're still hanging out. I mean, I don't know. I've never talked to a ghost, so I don't know. People think it's scary. I don't know, man. Anyways, so they find the gold. They set the hotel up in 18, I believe it was 92. Somebody was going to rob the hotel. I want you to think about this for a minute. 1892, they're going to rob a hotel. Did you ever hear about them robbing hotels? No, they robbed stagecoaches because that's where all the money was. The money was being transported. Or they robbed the bank. That's where they kept the money. They didn't rob hotels. Should tell you something there. The other thing I found fascinating about the Geiser Grand, and it was, they have a library up on the second floor. Library was basically, you could make the argument that for its time period, that was the local business center. We have internet cafes now. We go in, we get on the internet, we do our faxing, we do emails, all that kind of stuff. But this is where people would literally, you'll see the slides here. People literally paid $2 a day to go in and handle their business in the library, negotiate and do all that kind of stuff. And let's take a look at the first clip, the first set of pictures. And this is, as I said, in the beginning, and then we'll come back and we'll talk some. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to talk to you about one of the most unique farmers markets on the planet. LakeTahoeMarkets.com brings the market to you. This is one of the only farmers markets that I have ever seen. They have what they call market bags. They contain certified USDA organic fruits and vegetables that are free of fertilizers, pesticides, and of course, genetically modified organisms. In addition, the freshest produce available to the Lake Tahoe Basin. You can add farm fresh eggs, beef jerky, local honey, organic spices, locally made barbecue sauce, empanadas, good googly wooglies, and non-toxic skincare products, canned nuts, so much more. You can order individual bags each week, sign up for a subscription, and get free delivery. Tell me a farmer's market. That's a deal you can't beat. Tahoe Basin's online farmer's market, free delivery to the North Shore on Monday, South Shore on Tuesday. Lake Tahoe markets bring the market to you. www.laketahoemarkets.com. That's www.laketahoemarkets.com. In the beginning, that takes us to about 1900 right there, when it changed hands into the Geiser Grand. And before I forget, they kind of have a catchphrase, the same as, and this, I mean, when I say a lot of things are paralleling where I came from, it's like I've walked into it's fascinating. Step back in time. Step Back in Time tour. They have a tour Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at 2:30. If you're a guest of the hotel, it's complimentary. If you're passing through, you got the family, whatever you're doing, little 45-minute hour trip there, pit stop. You can check it out, and it is a great. It's a fantastic tour. The tour guide we had, Dylan was his name. Kind of casual guy, man. He was like, hey, it's nothing formal. If you have a question, don't be afraid to raise your hand, interrupt me, just ask your question. It's not, so it's a very relaxed atmosphere, very cool, and he very knowledgeable. Every question the guy was asked, he had an answer for. So, great tour guide he was. But again, at 2:30, tickets are complimentary if you're an overnight guest. But stop by. It's a nice little family atmosphere going on there. Again, my interest in this, when I had the opportunity to take the tour, was, wow, this is just so cool. It's great construction. I've been involved in many projects on the West Coast, in Virginia City. A lot of the Queen Anne Victorians helped to do in San Francisco when we were in another lifetime, if you will. But this type of construction, this era of construction, there's going to be a still come up, and it says, watch your head. When you see this image, that beam, keep in mind Chinese labor force. Chinese are shorter than, so they build to their height. They didn't build to European people's height. They built to their height. That's just the way it was back then. Not a big deal. You just ducked or you hit your head. It was, that's how people did things. Yeah, it wasn't all the crazy stuff they got going on today. It was a little more, I guess things have changed is the best way to say it. Anyways, you have the hotel fall on hard times because the country fell on hard times. You had the stock market collapse. It just completely crashes, and many people think we're getting there again. Who knows? I keep your fingers crossed, because it really hurt the hotel as far as what was going on. But prior to the Depression, oh boy, did we have a heyday. There's tunnels, there's accesses that people didn't know about. One of the images you're going to see is this gorgeous dining room, and it's open to upstairs. They had a way of bringing ladies of the evening in the back door, if you will, and the gentlemen of the town, the prominent gentlemen of the town that frequented these ladies. They had their own entrances here and there. The tunnels were used to move booze around during the what was that called? Prohibition. Well, you know what what a nightmare that was. But you had a scenario where the women knew what was going on. So what they started doing, they would all congregate in the dining room to see if they could catch their husbands. Times have changed. Times have changed. They have people following people around with cameras now doing that, but that was what was going on back then. When the market crash and the Depression hit, that kind of really never bounce back, as they say. The hotel did struggle for quite some time. In 1968, and I hate to say this, I never, I'm going to try to find a way to be kind and say this. Clint Eastwood never should have tried to sing, okay? Paint Your Wagon was shot there. Another thing that was done, if I remember correctly, this is the same area that the band and Little Feat did some stuff in this area also years ago. But Paint Your Wagon was there. And in 1969, the building closed. And with the building closed from 1969 to 1993, many things happened. Disrepair, the building degraded. Time has a way of wasting away when something sits and does nothing and collects rain, snow, etc. Enter Mr. and Mrs. Sidway. Yeah, something I left out. In 1978, and this is really kind of important, in 1978, Baker City becomes a historic district. That was about the same time Shirley Galletti, who was actually got her start working for Joe Conforti and then got elected as Story County Commissioner, started the process of having Virginia City put on the historic register. And again, there's so many things of this area of Oregon that parallel what was going on where I grew up in Virginia City, Lake Tahoe area, as far as historic sites go and all that kind of good stuff. The only big difference is they had casinos going on up there. The roulette wheel always spun. But let's talk for just a minute about what happens after you get you've heard me speak in the past of projects I've worked on. I've worked for two kind of people. I worked for people that the person at the top knew exactly what they wanted. They had a mission. They knew how to meet their goals. They knew how to plug the right people in to get the job done. I call it plugging in. If you've ever been a supervisor on a job, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You have to have the right people in the right positions to do what you need done. You also, because you're dealing with a historic building, you have to have somebody that kind of knows a little bit about wood. You have to have somebody that kind of knows a little bit about older construction. You kind of have to have somebody that maybe knows how to refinish furniture. And they have all this at this place. As I said, I was given liberty to roam around and take photographs to do this project. The little white things you see in the posts, the floor and ceiling joists, those are the original electrical wire insulators. They're porcelain, and they would have little grooves in them. The wire would go through, and then they'd nail them on there. They had little tubes that go through the thing. The green screws that you'll see in one of the display cases, the glass screws, those are also electrical wire insulators. But I got to see the furniture refurbishing, repair area, and you'll see all this stuff coming up in the next short we do here. Just the other, and this is hard because it's like I said, I've worked for both kinds of operations. The other type of an operation, when you get involved in a reclamation project, kind of fly by the seat of their pants. It's a little unorganized. What I saw here, not the case. Mrs. Sidway knows what she wants. She gets what she wants. She plugs the right people in the right places, and she's got a good thing going there. And I want to say thanks to everybody that made this possible. Thank you to Lake Tahoe Markets. Most of all, to all our military personnel, thank you for your service. They have a gift shop there. Again, tours, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 2:30. You want to make a reservation. They're limited in size because they are going through the hotel. What you're seeing here in this production, some of it is not on the tour, so don't be disappointed if you don't get to go see the furniture shop. As I said, I was allowed to roam around. I had the liberty to roam around and take some photographs that isn't on the tour, such as the furniture repair area and stuff like that. Is the hotel haunted? This is something that comes up everywhere. Some people here in town, they think it's crazy that some person's in there. They've had the ghost hunters there. They had the Japanese TV show there. Maintaining a hotel of this stature, now you have a great restaurant. I've looked at the menu. If it's half as good as it appears on the menu, you got a 5-star restaurant, folks. I mean, it's excellent menu to take a look at there. You saw the 1905 Christmas menu. That is the kind of stuff. And again, you're going to see some stuff in this last clip. The dress you're going to see is a period piece. If I'm not mistaken, it is a great-grandmother's piece that came from Germany. And, of course, you keep hearing me say times have changed. Women of that area, very prim and proper, didn't show their ankles, definitely didn't show other parts of the body like some fashion statements make today. You'll also see an old phonograph. Actually, I think it was a dictograph is what it is. It's you talked into it, and it made a recording for the phonograph. That, I don't know what, a very unique piece. It's really it's got the big horn on it. Remember the RCA? If you're my age, your dad had an RCA Victrola with the RCA dog with his paw to his ear. He had his, head cocked sideways. A Dalmatian it was, if I remember correctly. But that is what that artifact is in the thing there. And I found one of the people, when I was doing preservation work back in Nevada, when we were working with Fannie Mae and HUD, people would ask me why I had all this weird stuff, but it was all antiquish. It was all milk containers, cream cans, agricultural, industrial art stuff. And when in speaking with Mrs. Sidway, I asked her, I go, how did you get involved in this? And she was basically kind of, nah, I don't want to do it. And gentleman here in town, Tom, his last name escapes me, but he was persistent. Again, any project that is successful as this one is, everybody is good at what they do. Tom said, hey, look, Barbara, you are the one to do this. This is you. You got to come do it. He was persistent. He got Mr. and Mrs. Sidway out here to do this. And she said the only thing she asked of the cleanup crew, you keep whatever money you find, I don't care. I want the artifacts. I want everything related to this hotel. Part of the tour that you will see when you take the tour at this place is the artifacts that were found. The glass bolts, silver spoons that were in the basement, in the walls, just all kinds of menus and paperwork, stock certificates, stuff like this. So, and that's kind of weird because when I ran the preservation, that's what the stuff I kept. They kept the money. They kept what we did do though with Alliday LLC. We took all the pennies, put them in a 5-gallon container when the 5-gallon container got full. And I want you to think about something. Everybody thought I was crazy doing this. I had 27 employees working, doing 2 or 3 houses a day, right? We'd have crews of 5 doing 2 or 3 houses a day. And each house you would find anywhere from 20 to 200 pennies. They'd go on the 5-gallon jug. When they got full, we'd have a big barbecue for the employees. It was a good situation, and I just thought that was kind of a unique thing. I thought, wow, that sounds like me. That sounds like something I would do, and I actually did it when I got to thinking about it. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, to everybody at the Geiser Grand, Mrs. Sidway, Mr. Sidway, I certainly appreciate the liberties that you afforded me. To Dylan on the tour guide. I'm great guy, very personable, kind of funny. He jokes around a lot. Had a good time on the tour. Our sponsor, Lake Tahoe Markets. You got to check them out if you're in the Lake Tahoe area. They deliver farm to table. You can't beat that, folks. Speaking of farmers markets, Baker, if you're in the Baker City area, folks, hey, check them out because everybody, all the little farms in the local area here are starting to harvest food, and the market has. I mean, like when I first went to it, there was a tamale guy and our tamale gal there from Deliciosos and the girl selling cookies. Now there's all kinds of vegetables, so I can go get vegetables and cookies and still be healthy. I don't have to just get cookies now. Although, you know me, I can make an argument. Cookies are a breakfast food. Anyways, thanks to everybody involved with this, all the employees at the Geiser Grand that have provided information for this, and my 2 research gurus there, Beth and Kim back in Virginia. Thanks for your assistance, ladies. Enjoy this last reel, folks. To all our military personnel, thank you for your service. Ladies and gentlemen, hope you had a great weekend. Let's have a good night, folks. Let's all be safe out there, huh? Oh, that's right. I forgot about this guy here, man. Apparently, they had crazy people back then that got drunk and lit up, and I guess somebody got drunk and intoxicated beyond belief and thought that was real. Shot the lion in the head. Here was one of the other interesting little nuggets of information that turned up. That black you see in the nails, you see that are bent over on there. They tanned leather in the basement of here, and that's why the boards are black. They lit fires to heat the water up and boil the hides. So that's why when you see these pictures down in the furniture restoration area, repair area, that's why that wood is black. Those were original timbers of the original construction. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in to Alliday Mobile Media's production of the Geiser Grand Hotel. A marvelous, marvelous piece of architecture. A great job of preserving the building. Tip of the hat to Mrs. Sidway. Big thanks to Mr. and Mrs. Sidway for allowing the access to the property, and being able to wander around and talk to employees and the people down in the furniture repair department, restoration, the construction rebuild going on there. People around town, Cindy Taylor provided some information. Carla Smith provided a little information that I was able to use. A big tip of the hat to the research gurus on this project. Kim and Beth back in Virginia, right next door to all the madness in Washington, D.C., but they found time to help a fella out. How lucky can one guy be, hey? If you are in, once again, they have a tour of the hotel Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It's at 2:30, limited capacity because you are touring the hotel. There are guests there and functions still going on. If you're passing through, you want to check out some great history. You have the historic Geiser Grand Hotel in historic Baker City on the historic Oregon Trail. Maybe Oregon should just be a historic state. I mean, we've all got a history. But again, thanks to everybody involved that helped make this production possible, and our sponsor for this production, Lake Tahoe Markets. If you're in the Lake Tahoe, Gardnerville area, give them a look-see. And don't forget, if you're in Baker City, check out the farmers market. All the farmers starting to have produce come in, and it's harvest time. Let's have a great night, folks. Let's all be safe out there, huh?